When you're a member of the minority party, nothing spells political opportunity like guy trying to blow up airliner over Detroit using explosives in his underpants on Christmas Day. For Republican Congressman Pete Hoekstra of Michigan, the failed attack on a Northwest Airlines flight, allegedly by 23-year-old Umar Farouk Abdul Muttalab, flashed a big green political go signal, as in, go raise money for your political campaign, Congressman. Pete Hoekstra is running for governor of Michigan, and after the attack, he rushed out a letter on Monday that began, quote, "Dear friend, we don't have much time, so I will get right to the point. In the midst of enjoying Christmas with my family, we were quickly reminded," you're getting the urgency here, "we were quickly reminded that there is still a war against the American way of life. On Christmas morning, it came right here to Detroit. I understand the real and continuing threat radical jihadists pose, but I need your help. Please make a most generous contribution of $25, $50, $100, or even $250 to my campaign. Please help me fight by making a most generous contribution of $25, $50, $100, or even $250, so that we can fight together to protect our families, our state, and our freedom. Yours truly, Pete Hoekstra. P.S. Please make a secure online donation to my campaign of $25, $50, $100, or even $250. You stay classy. Congressman Pete Hoekstra wants to be the next governor of Michigan, and this is the way he thinks he's going to do it. He's now the ranking Republican on the House Intelligence Committee, and in that capacity, you might remember Pete Hoekstra as the guy who spilled a few beans after the shooting at Fort Hood in November, telling the Washington Post that U.S. intelligence had been reading email between suspect Major Nadal Malik Hassan and a radical cleric in Yemen. That was apparently classified information that was considered sensitive to ongoing investigations. It had not been released to the public until Pete Hoekstra spilled the beans. And you might remember that it was Congressman Hoekstra who championed the idea of posting a huge archive of uncensored Iraqi documents on the web. Documents that included a detailed, unredacted blueprint for structuring an atom bomb, conveniently written in Arabic. You might also remember the time that Pete Hoekstra went on television with then-Senator Rick Santorum and claimed that they had found the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. They weren't kidding.
Congressman Hoekstra and I are here today to say that we have found weapons of mass destruction in Iraq.
This says weapons have been discovered.
Remember, he's the top House Republican on intelligence. They've got no one better. Now, over in the Senate, the Husker Du audacity match for Pete Hoekstra and responding to this attempted bombing is Senator Jim DeMint of South Carolina, who in the wake of the attack is crowing about his blocking of the nominee to head the Transportation Security Administration. President Obama nominated Errol Southers, who now runs the police force at LAX, to take over airline security, to take over the Transportation Security Administration. A vote on Mr. Southers is being blocked by Senator DeMint. Not because Senator DeMint is questioning whether Mr. Southers is qualified for the job, but because Jim DeMint thinks that Errol Southers might allow baggage screeners to join a union. Kel or rur. Senator Jim DeMint says unionized baggage screeners are a threat to us all.
When we formed the airport security system, we realized we could not use collective bargaining and unionization because of that need to be flexible. Yet that appears to be the top priority now of the administration.
Did you know that was President Obama's top priority for reals? Collective bargaining for Transportation Security Administration employees? That's President Obama's top priority. I didn't know that. You're looking at two pillars of the Republican brand here in this issue: talking tough on terrorism and being tough on unions. Well, today, thanks to Senator DeMint, we found out which of those pillars is bigger. Senator DeMint issuing a statement that the Christmas Day underwear bomber is, quote, a perfect example of why the Obama administration should not unionize the TSA. For Republican Senator Jim DeMint, standing against unions is more important than having anyone head up airline security in the United States of America. Today, Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid says he will force a vote on Errol Southers' nomination to head the TSA next month. Joining us now is Democratic Congresswoman Loretta Sanchez of California. She is the Vice Chair of the House Homeland Security Committee. Congresswoman Sanchez, thanks very much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Rachel. Good evening.
Since the Christmas bombing attempt on that Northwest flight, politicians have been talking about the vacancy at the head of the TSA. How important do you think it is, as Vice Chair of Homeland Security in the House, how important is it that the TSA get a chief?
It's incredibly important, since I've been sitting on the Committee of Homeland Security since its inception after Congress and the President put it in after September 11th. And every time that we have an audit on what's going on in the department, there are two things that stand out. One, that the morale is the lowest in the Department of Homeland Security, and secondly, that there's great vision. In other words, there's a good mission for that department, but that the leadership is very lacking, the management is very lacking. And one of the problems that we've had, we haven't yet had a report on that under the Obama administration, but that's because it takes a while to fill those positions, those top positions in a department. And the problem we've had is trying to fill those, getting those nominations through the Senate. And I think it's incredibly important that we fill that position. And of course, I know the chief personally because he's from the Los Angeles area. He's at LAX, and I've seen his work. I've seen his work under Governor Schwarzenegger. I've seen his work over at the Threat Institute there at USC. So he would be a great addition to the leadership team in TSA and in the Homeland Security Department.
Well, in the other chamber, in the Senate, it is Senator DeMint who is blocking Mr. Suthers. And he says his main concern is questions about whether or not Mr. Suthers would allow bag screeners to unionize. What do you make of that as a reason to hold up this nomination?
Well, I have never heard the chief say that his main mission is to unionize, nor have I heard the Obama administration say that that's their main mission within the Homeland Department. What I know about the chief would be that he knows LAX, he knows California, he knows local law enforcement, he knows the different layers working together at the state and the federal, and as an FBI agent, etc. I think he would be great, because one of the problems that we have is there's information coming from different places. We never put it together. I think he would have that overall view to understand that he needs to do that. I've never heard him say, oh, we need to unionize the workers. I think that he would go and take a look at all the issues that are involved with these workers to ensure that their morale increases, that they're doing a good job, that they're alert, that there's a career pattern for them, that it's an important job, not just to the worker, it's an important job to us.
The senior Republican on the House Intelligence Committee is Congressman Pete Hoekstra. As you know, he's running for governor in Michigan right now, and right after the news broke about this attempted bombing on Christmas Day, Congressman Hoekstra sent out a fundraising letter keyed to the attempted murder of 300 Americans. You could probably tell from my introduction that that strikes me as uncool. It strikes me as crossing a line of crassness and exploitation of terrorism in a way that seems to me to be inappropriate, just in terms of my personal opinion. Do you share that opinion? Do you think that it was appropriate for Congressman Hoekstra to go there with this fundraising appeal?
I believe it's completely inappropriate to do that. Look, we cannot afford to politicize the security of our people. We have limited resources in our government to secure our homeland, our people, our interests. And what we've been trying to do, and it started under the Bush administration, and the Obama administration is trying to do that, is to have a layered impact so that we can stop these things from happening. There's never 100% guarantee, nor is there the desire. None of us want to spend all our money just on security. We have other issues, health care, education, etc. So we need to be very smart about how we do this, and the last thing we need to do is be Republicans or Democrats or we just don't need to be doing that. And I'm really saddened that Pete Hoekstra would do that.
Congresswoman Loretta Sanchez, Democrat of California, Vice Chair of the House Homeland Security Committee, thanks very much for coming on the show. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you.